mining consumes a huge and growing amount of energy with thousands of computers in the effort.
And the big question, though, is can it ever really become sustainable?
Well, Denise, electricity accounts for about 80% of a Bitcoin miner's operating costs, so they'll go wherever the deals are.
Yeah, apparently they are. And now miners are flocking to Texas and got cheap energy and, that good old Texas hospitality and business-friendly regulations, of course. And Texas also has a growing renewable energy industry.
And in this episode of Getting Warmer on Bloomberg Originals, actor and former White House aide Kal Penn moseys down to Texas to meet some crypto cowboys.
You might be wondering what a story about Bitcoin is doing in the middle of nowhere. And I mean nowhere. With towns like Ymca, named after the fact that if you blink you might miss it, this vast region of West Texas, widely known as the Permian Basin, is not exactly the Big Apple. But that doesn't mean it's not important. In fact, its primary export is the cornerstone to life as we know it. Energy. That's right. West Texas has energy for sale. There's lots of it, and it is cheap. And where there's cheap energy these days, you're bound to find these things pop up like suckerfish. Bitcoin miners, specialized machines custom-built to solve complex problems to earn that magical internet money that we're all really tired of hearing about. I'm headed to a man camp. Oil workers and energy makers live in these unironically named man campments for months, even years at a time. But fun names aside, and assuming the believers are right and crypto isn't the modern-day tulip bulb, Bitcoin miners will be increasingly calling these man camps home as they move into places like West Texas for their cheap energy. Wandering this man camp alone has me thinking, if Bitcoin mining is so energy intensive, how does a place like Texas, with such historic grid problems, let them in? And who better to ask than Bloomberg senior reporter Mike Smith, whose work we plagiarized in order to make this. Would you say Texas is unregulated, underregulated?
I would say it's lightly regulated in most cases in terms of business, and very lightly regulated in terms of electricity. And that's because the electrical system in Texas was basically created a couple of decades ago to be almost entirely market-driven. The cost of electricity for big-time users of electricity is probably the lowest in the United States. The state is doing everything they can to attract people here to mine Bitcoins.
And how much electricity are we talking about?
Enough electricity to basically light up hundreds of thousands of homes. But the more I looked into it, the more I discovered it's not really black and white. It's not that simple.
Enter Justin Ballard, self-styled crypto cowboy and full-on Bitcoin fanboy.
I'm a believer that the Bitcoin network and what Bitcoin can do for people around the world, not just in the U.S., is very, very powerful.
Guys like Justin are looking to capitalize on the Lone Star State's business-first energy market to buy cheap energy for his fleet of thousands upon thousands of power-hungry machines.
I came from the oil and gas space, and I realized it's very similar to the oil and gas industry in that you want to be the lowest cost operator to produce a barrel in oil and gas. So Bitcoin mining obviously does require a lot of energy, and the goal of a miner is to find the cheapest energy possible, and typically that cheapest energy is found in remote areas.
So off we go to guzzle gas on the open road to better understand exactly what an energy hawk does to find cheap power. So we're going to a solar site.
Yeah, this is a 180 megawatt solar farm that we're going to.
What's 180 watts in English?
180 megawatts?
Megawatts. What does that power?
Oh man, it can power a lot.
One megawatt is 200 homes.
Right. So 360,000, I guess, right? Something like that.
I'm horrible at math. Wow. The old saying's true. Everything really is bigger in Texas. But despite this vast expanse of panels, solar and other renewables remain an intermittent power source that doesn't even come close to satiating Bitcoin's appetite. To do that, Bitcoin miners need to buy power from sources with a surplus of energy. And believe it or not, there's quite a few options around here. So where are we going now? It's the substation? What does that mean?
This is a substation that we are going to be taking power from there's a lot of excess power out here that just is available, but is not being utilized at this time. So
What were they, or I guess what are they currently doing with the excess?
nothing.
So it just goes into the ground?
Right.
This type of power is known as stranded energy, and it's quite literally energy that has nowhere to go. And this is what occupies a lot of Justin's time, finding sources of stranded or excess energy and capturing it. He's doing a deal with this substation that has too much energy. They literally cannot give it away before they have to let it go.
This is the Owl Hill substation, and it's going to be a 40 megawatt site here.
This is like the giant outlet in the wall that you're going to plug
Right.
your Bitcoin computers in.
Yeah.
The sources of stranded energy are as diverse as energy itself, and a true energy hunter finds power from places you couldn't dream of. What are we actually going to see?
So we're going to go to a well site that has a flare stack on it, but these wells are not economic from selling natural gas type standpoint, but they can be economic for us to mine Bitcoin on because the amount of gas that required to mine is so small.
So like when you see that, can you just imagine Bitcoin's coming out of there?
I'm coming right out of the top.
Money?
Yeah, I'm catching them. I got the basket around.
It doesn't take a rocket scientist, I'm just an actor, to understand that capping flared gas and turning it into energy is a lot greener than releasing it into the atmosphere. But there's a huge but here. Much of Bitcoin miners' current operations plug straight into grids that power homes and offices. A lot comes from non-renewable sources like natural gas and coal. Not only that, but Bitcoin's energy demands could potentially strain the grid's output, taking power away from residents who need it, especially in times of emergencies. In February of 2021, an ice storm brought the state to its knees, overwhelming the power grid, causing it to shut down. No heat, no water after this first storm, and it's been deadly. 246 people died. Today, we're in the midst of an insane heat wave. In fact, the day we filmed this, almost every Bitcoin miner in the state had to shut down to accommodate peak demand for energy. Can a state with such serious energy concerns really afford to sell their power to Bitcoin miners? As it turns out, Bitcoin maximalists have an argument for why their intense power demands on the grid is actually a good thing for energy stability.
They're not putting the Texas grid at risk. They're actually stabilizing the Texas grid. There is a balance that is required for the grid to continue to operate. It's a very small tolerance that you can get above or below. The benefit of Bitcoin mining for the grid is that you take your base load from this to this. When you keep your base load higher, when you do have a peak demand from residential use because of a storm or whatever, it's much easier to already just start curtailing your power away from the Bitcoin miners. They shut down, and it is diverted to the residential use.
Did you get all that? Yeah, neither did I. So I decided to zoom in for a second opinion with independent energy consultant Doug Lewin.
Is the grid and are the energy sources capable of supporting all of the growth in crypto?
So I think the answer is a firm maybe. And what it depends on is good regulation. In order to get Texas to a place where Texas is the leader in low polluting, low emission, clean energy, we are going to need a lot of large flexible loads. If they can do it, then we've got a template for these other large flexible loads to enter the market.
And that is how, in a perfect world of fulfilled ifs, Bitcoin mining's constant exponential demand for power can help stabilize the energy grid and drive innovation towards sustainability.
And that was Getting Warmer with Cal Penn. And you can see and hear episodes of this great series at Bloomberg.com/originals. And you can also catch Getting Warmer on Bloomberg Television, Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. Wall Street time.
And coming up,
General Motors CEO Mary Barra says she wants her team to be scrappy.
you're listening to Bloomberg Bet. World markets, headlines, and breaking news 24 hours a day at Bloomberg.com and the Bloomberg Business app. This is Bloomberg 1130. Now, a global news update.
The U.S. is formally accusing Russia of war crimes in Ukraine. Speaking today at the annual Munich Security Conference, Vice President Harris said the U.S. has examined the evidence, and there's no doubt Russian forces engaged in horrendous atrocities, including acts of murder, torture, and rape. President Biden is set to visit Poland early next week, ahead of the one-year anniversary of Russia's war on Ukraine. Former President Trump plans to visit the site of a train derailment in eastern Ohio next week. In a post on Truth Social, Trump wrote he's making the trip on Wednesday because the residents of East Palestine are great people who need help now. Police in Columbus, Georgia say 9 children are being treated at hospitals after being shot at a local gas station. Authorities say the gunman opened fire on a large crowd at a gas station about 10 o'clock last night. The wounded range in age from 5 to 17 years old and are all expected to survive. That's the latest. I'm Julie Ryan.
Now your 3-day weather forecast on Bloomberg 1130.
Plenty of sunshine to enjoy today and a high getting up towards 45 degrees. Tonight, increasing clouds, low about 35. Tomorrow, warming up again, mostly cloudy, breezy, high near 50. Tomorrow night, mostly cloudy, low near 45. And Monday, more clouds and sun, chance for a shower, and a high all the way up near 60 degrees. That's your Bloomberg 3-day weather forecast. I'm Susanna Palmer. Now a check of Bloomberg Sports.
The Slam Dunk Contest highlights today's NBA All-Star Weekend in Salt Lake City. Wayne Wade, Dirk Nowitzki, Pau Gasol, and Greg Popovich are among the finalists for the 2023 class of the Basketball Hall of Fame. For the past 5 seasons, Eric Bieniemy is the Kansas City Chiefs offensive coordinator, but not the primary play caller. He'll get that opportunity with Washington. Aside from becoming the Commanders' new offensive coordinator, Bieniemy will also serve as their assistant head coach. That's a Bloomberg Sports Update. I'm Joel Stern.
Bloomberg 1130 is where you are. Get live business news and market headlines from anywhere, 24 hours a day, via your mobile device. Listen to the iHeartRadio app. Tune in to the Bloomberg Business app and Bloomberg.com.
Dear Calvary Hospital, my father, Curtis Moore, is my hero. Now 96 years old, he has led an exceptional life of self-sacrifice. A Market Point Marine, a New York City detective, and a family man who cared for his children and grandchildren his entire life. So when other hospitals could no longer relieve his suffering or our family's emotional pain, we brought in Calvary's miraculous team of home hospice experts. Thanks to Calvary's doctors, nurses, and social workers, Dad was able to resume the quality of life he wanted and deserved, and I was able to become his daughter again, surrounded by the love of his entire family. Thank you, Calvary. Phyllis Robinson.
This is Frank Calamari, president of Calvary Hospital. With Calvary at Home, experience our unique Calvary care right in your own home. Call us today at 718-518-2465.
Why do institutional broker-dealers rely on BNY Mellon Pershing for a tailored and proactive experience? Marcus Mattielli, Director of Institutional Solutions, shares how Pershing helps you consider everything.
In this highly competitive environment, BNY Mellon Pershing's Institutional Solutions team wants to know, what are you doing today to position your firm for future growth? Do you have confidence in the stability and durability of your strategic partners? Can you access clear guidance to help you be better, sharper, faster, and more strategic? Whether it's clearing, financing, collateral management, securities lending, or global trade execution, BNY Mellon and Pershing are committed to meeting the evolving needs of institutional firms.
To learn more about the unique and industry-leading solutions for broker-dealers, visit Pershing.com. Pershing LLC, member FINRA, NYSE, SIPC.
This is Tom Sheen.
I'm Jonathan Farrow.
And I'm Lisa Abramowitz.
Join us Tuesday morning for Bloomberg Surveillance.
The distance to an American recession. We speak with Mark Giannani of Barclays.
And on the shift in narrative from disinflation to something new, we speak with Nicola Mai of PIMCO.
Bloomberg Surveillance Tuesday morning, starting at 7 a.m. on Bloomberg 1130, the Bloomberg Business app, and BloombergRadio.com.
And watch us on Bloomberg Television Xfinity Channel 1122.
This is Bloomberg Best on Bloomberg Radio. I'm Ed Baxter.
And I'm Denise Pellegrini.
Denise, electric vehicles, of course, the big topic in the auto industry these days.
Yeah, it sure is. And the transition and how to pay for it is, of course, the big challenge for the automakers.
And Bloomberg's David Weston caught up with the General Motors chair and CEO and asked her about that.
And Mary Barra Ed told him it's really a steady pipeline of popular traditional vehicles that's supercharging the EV effort.
Our internal combustion engine business is doing quite well, and I really think we've got the best lineup of products that we've had in a very, very long time, and we just keep making it better and better. But right now, we just did a major refresh on our full-size trucks, which is the Chevrolet Silverado, the GMC Sierra. We have a brand new heavy-duty Sierra and Silverado coming out. We also have brand new mid-size trucks coming out. That's the Colorado, the Chevy Colorado, and the GMC Canyon, and that's just the truck portfolio. We've got also, I'm really excited. We have a Chevrolet Trax. So this is an entry-level vehicle. It is affordable, has great safety technology, great connectivity, and it's around $20,000. And this vehicle is a lot of fun to drive, great fuel efficiency. So when I look at our portfolio of internal combustion engines, I'm really excited about it, and they're doing well. The customers are responding. I mean, we still see very strong demand for our trucks, our full-size SUVs, the Chevrolet Suburban and Tahoe, the GMC Yukon, and the Escalade. Again, we can't build enough of them, and so I'm excited about the demand. The customers are really responding, and that kind of response, and especially when they want to buy up-level models, is really what is giving us the ability to generate the profitability. We had strong profitability last year that allows us to continue to invest from an EV perspective.
It's a big year for General Motors, and you have a lot of electric vehicle models coming out as well, adding to a portfolio. You talked about higher level, more expensive ones. You sort of started there with Lyric and some of the more